Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. And tomorrow the Lions will be taking on the Griquas as the Currie Cup finally returns after almost 2 weeks, in fact. It's been a really disruptive tournament. And look, if we're going to be very honest, I think in terms of the integrity of the tournament, I think that it has lost quite a lot of its integrity. I mean, teams like the Sharks, for example, it's their third cancelled match tomorrow. So it's really not going to be remembered as the Currie Cup, which was 100% reflective of the team's performances. But what I will say is that it is a Currie Cup that whenever the teams have taken to the part, it's been a fantastic competition. It really has been really nice and close. We've seen some brilliant encounters from the Griquas, from the Pumas. We've seen we've seen some upsets everywhere. It's not been the case. I mean, every single side's got a victory. That's what we're talking about in terms of just how competitive this Currie Cup has been so far. So it's been a really good watch when we've actually managed to see it. And I suppose the main thing now is that a lot of people will say, it's useless and cancelled and stuff like that. And I can kind of understand, the thinking behind it. But for me, when you've got these teams preparing for the United Rugby Championship in September, that's where the importance of this Currie Cup comes in, especially because it's a double round, so there's a lot of rugby still to be played. And it's very important that teams like the Lions, Sharks, Bulls, and Province, for when they become the Stormers, that they get the game time. And it's equally important for these other sides. A team like Griquas, you can't just call off the Currie Cup and come back next year. Where do they then sit? What happens to them? When do they play? You got to think about sponsors, for example. Sponsors are not going to be happy if you just can a tournament and come back next year. You're talking about team sponsors, especially with these smaller teams. A team like Griquas can't afford to lose sponsors and stuff like that. So that's why it is crucial that this tournament does continue, even if you think that the final result might not be very reflective. But in terms of tomorrow, before we look at the teams, please do smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. This is how the Lions will be lining up. The first match since they lost to the British and Irish Lions, and a couple of changes and some exciting players in, as well as a new signing. So in terms of the front row, Steve Tole, Jakob Osaki, and Yanni du Plessis, very solid, very experienced. Expect them to get that scrum ascendancy. Ruben Skuman and Reynard North continue their ever-present lock combination. I think that the fact that they will play week in, week out shows that there's some needed depth at lock, which maybe sort of explains the signing on the bench itself. And then the loose trio, Vincent Tutuka has been ruled out with injury. He partially dislocated his shoulder during the British and Irish Lions and is not available for tomorrow, which will see the return of MJ Pulse to the starting lineup. Sibasiso Sangweni shifts to the number 7 role. Frankie Horn will continue to captain the side at number 8. Morne van den Berg start, which is really exciting. Equally exciting is next. And the man next to him will be Jordan Hendrickson. So a very young and exciting halfback combination. Ras Vaklana and Stian Pino comes back into the side in the number 14 jumper. Berger, Urdendal, Mani Russ continue their centre combination there. EW Villian will continue to play at full back. Off the bench, PJ Buerta, Ruan Dre, and Carl Usari will add a lot of experience and power in the second half. FP Pulser is the new signing who has joined the Lions. He was supposed to be playing, supposed to go overseas to the USA and play for the Seattle side in Seattle. Before that, he was with the Griquas. And he has now officially completed his move back to the Lions, where he actually played all his junior rugby back in the day. He's 26 years old. He's 112 kgs, so it brings quite a lot of grunt. We're supposed to go to the sort of Seattle Seawolves, I think it was the side that he was supposed to play for in 2020. As you can imagine, how difficult it would have been for last year. But it's good to see him back in his roots, where he sort of came through the system, and we'll have to see what it is all about tomorrow. And then the very exciting youngster Travis Gordon. We'll get a start tomorrow. We've only seen sort of bits of him really with the young side, but he's a very exciting, talented young player. We saw him in the Varsity Cup come through quite a lot, and he's somebody who he's got a lot of ambition. I mean, he's somebody that's previously said that he would like to captain an international side. So that is the sort of the caliber of this Wits star. And then Andre Warner is recovered from a broken cheekbone. And the number 21 jumper, Fred Zayling and Duncan Matthews will cover the rest of the scrum. It's a pretty decent Lion side. It's a very, it's a very good Currie Cup side, I think. It's a side there which, against Griquas and Pumas shouldn't have no issues. But I still sit there thinking that there are so many ways that they can improve for United Rugby Championship. Look, Wandisile Similani has been released from the Springbok squad, and so he will be joining up with the Lions over the next week or two, so that'll be a big boost. And obviously when Elton Yankees will come back for United Rugby Championship, I still think hooker, lock, and probably inside centre has got to be on the sort of shopping list for the Lions in the coming months. For the Griquas, this is how they will line up tomorrow. Moxon Cawley at loose head, very experienced player. Brings a lot with him. Janko Ace, and then Jano Buerta is the rest of the front row. Pretty solid front row there. And in the lock combination, we know RJ Smith and Cameron Lindsay. We know exactly what they get. They're very consistent performers. Cameron Lindsay brings a little bit of bulk, as RJ Smith really. They're both quite big players. Gerrie van der Merwe is the player to watch as always in that pack, as well as former Bulls captain, former Bulls player, our junior and captain now, Griquas, Ruan Steenkamp. Hanu Sergil will wear the number 7 jumper. Stefan Unger will be the scrum half. He'll be partnering George White, who I think has been particularly impressive. Kicked pretty well against the Western Province. Probably should have kicked a little bit better, but that's the Griquas are coming off a win against the Western Province. That's where they're sitting, so they'll be very confident coming in tomorrow. The two wings, Edwin Keita and Daniel Casenda, are very, very pacey. I was very impressed when Asher Davis came on against Western Province. I thought he looked very, very bright. And then you've got Jonathan Frankie and JC, now the former Western Province. Bulls Centre at number 13. So it's a decent backline. It's a couple of players who got quite a lot to prove. But Jason does a very nice play. He's 22 years old. He scored a try on debut for the Griquas. Then off the bench, H.J. Lewis, Andrew Beerwinkel, Andrew Skitter. We know exactly what we get there. We're also very well acquainted with Zonilo Zito and Siva Bola Koma, Regan Orania, Tennis De Beer, as well as Edoisa Orenza are the cover there. So it's a Griquas side which traveled down to the Western Province and won. So they'll be full of confidence. It's definitely not the same side that you face when you play in Kimberley, where it's very tough conditions wise, and they sort of tend to produce their best rugby. But they'll be thinking they can go after this Lions side, who haven't played in 2 weeks, might be a little bit slow to start, coming off a very big loss against the British and Irish Lions. So we don't quite know where they are in terms of the headspace they're in. Their match against the Griquas, against the Cheetahs, were cancelled this past weekend, so it'll be good for them to get back on the field. My gut says Lions by 15. Let me know what you think will be live for this game, as well as the Western Province versus the Cheetahs tomorrow. So come hang out, smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel. My name's Steven, and I'll chat to you guys soon.